Hello guys, and welcome to another day with Zimaleta. In today's video, we're going to be using my new Star Diagnostic system, and we're going to try to diagnose this printer van. So anyways, I have everything plugged in. Here's the multiplexer right here, and I have everything connected, and I got my key to turn to the second position. So let's go ahead and actually go to entry right here, and we're going to double click that, open the system up. And let's see what happens. So anyways guys, I'm into my system, everything's plugged up. We're just gonna go ahead and dive in. I will make more videos accessing all the systems and stuff, but right now the main thing I'm interested in is diagnosing my Sprinter van. So we have all kinds of different models here, so I'm going straight to van. And I see Sprinter 2, Sprinter 1. So mine's a Sprinter 2. I just connected my Sprinter for the diagnostics for the first time, and turns out when the vehicle's off and the keys turn into second position, it was actually pretty much giving me like a communication error where I could not find the VIN number. Well, I turned the vehicle on and now it's actually communicating with this unit. So let's click F2 again. So let's do the quick test. The interesting thing about it is it needs to be running for this test to begin. I was already beginning to think, why is it not connecting? Because it's telling me that it's either a fault at like one of the pins 11 where it plugs into OBD2, or with the system itself. So hopefully this is going to be working pretty good. Now I'm still very new to the system, but believe me when I tell you, I'm definitely going to be studying this thing, using my own sprinters and looking into all the diagnostics. And the very first thing, but not the last thing, what I want to do is I definitely want to remove the speed limiter on this sprinter. I would like to be able to have it go unlimited speed, even though I'm not going to be using it, but that's something I definitely want to do. And I definitely want to find out what's wrong with my ABS system, because the ABS system lights are on, as you can see. Check engine light on as well. Definitely interesting what's wrong with that. See if I could actually test that further. So some of the tests I'm going to do right now. It is dark, but you know, I'm going to, this is gonna be like my first run at it, and then I will learn from it and move on, and then make like a second test when I'm actually when it's actually the data results. You know, obviously F, it means fault, and then we have fault with information, which is an I. The check mark means it's a pass, and I don't know if this is right, but it seems to me that we have a lot of faults. I don't know why this would be, if it connected the proper way. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff. So, CR common rail. Let's just go ahead and actually test that. Okay, so I need to confirm for the safety. Control unit, current fault codes. Let's do stored fault codes. So what do we have here? This is the signal from component B142. Intake pressure sensor is faulty. Intake pressure sensor is faulty. The signal voltage is too low. Current and stored. The signal from component outside air temperature sensor is faulty. Fault from instrument cluster over CAN. The signal from component B101 mass airflow sensor is faulty. Wow, mass airflow sensor is faulty. It is interesting. A lot of times a lot of these codes will get thrown if just like one thing malfunctions, then everything malfunctions. So from what I could see already, I could see that this little light thing indicates that this is current. Obviously this is not. And yeah, so let's see what is my option. Let's see, what is the stop here? Stop monitoring. We have ambient data, delete fault codes. Okay, let's go ahead and delete these fault codes. Switch ignition off, it says. So let's see. Ignition was switched on. So let me see if we can hit OK. So it just crossed those things out. Now let's see here. It may be already like disconnected, so let's just hit the faulty error during initialization. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the key to the second position, switch off ignition, and then switch on. So did that. Intake pressure sensor is faulty. So it obviously came back. Intake pressure sensor is faulty. Intake pressure sensor. So it almost sounds like it's a barometric sensor that's on the airbox. I thought I'll note this. It seems like we experienced a crash. I had to do Control Alt Delete to basically get rid of that stuff that was actually, you know, malfunctioning. So we're gonna access the diagnostics again. So let's see what's gonna happen. We're gonna hit F2. So basically I'm just selecting just, you know, continue, and it's gonna hopefully do everything else. So I could see that this appears. It's like a lock thing towards the bottom. It's crossed over. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but as soon as we hit this, that's what we got. So we're gonna do quick test. And what I want to do this time is I want to see what the repair procedure is going to be, because it should actually give you a repair procedure. So on the very next run, everything has pulled up again, and then we have like some choices here. We have common rail, which we did test before it came with a fault, and looks like we have plenty of faults here. So we have an option to start. We have other options as well. Switch to control units with fault codes and events. And I wonder what this glass here is. So we just go and click that. And B number, let's see. So what's interesting is like once I hit that glass, it's telling me some of these other things, like fuel level sensor has whatever, ambient temperature sensor has, you know, whatever that is. The pre-glow indicator lamp is faulty. Interesting. So that obviously has to do with like a cluster. And then we have the SRS malfunction indicator lamp is faulty. And CAN communicator of the engine control module is faulty. CAN communication with brake system module is faulty. So that's what I was actually thinking. The brake system module, which is like the ABS, could be faulty itself. That's what's causing my ABS issue. CAN communication to control module electronic transmission control is faulty. So electronic transmission control module looks like it's faulty. That I could see happening. when I drive this printer, I'm not even, you know, this scared, but like upon looking at everything, it's got all these faults. Imagine going into the dealer. It's like, oh man, this is gonna cost you. So we have a lot of stuff is showing us here. Interface locking. So we have one more fault here. Stop lamp switch, cable left rear axle speed sensor, current stuff. Okay, that makes sense. Left rear axle speed sensor. So there's a, it says cable, so possibility we have a fault inside of the cable. I actually did the wiring job on it, so probably did a pretty bad job. Cable RPM sensor stored. The voltage supply for terminal 15 for backup lamps. Yeah, there's actually a problem with that for the backup lights. That's not working. No or incorrect CAN message from control unit ABS. So yeah, the actual ABS unit is possibly bad. Reversing lights has like whatever. Wheel speed sensor implausible. I know one thing is, this is not scaring me at all, and it basically means we are getting somewhere with this. We have a lot more information in our hands now. Let's see, the interface with the radio remote. Okay, radio remote, I didn't even know it had one. The crash sensor has unlocked the doors. Okay. So what else? We have back. So we could do a start. Let's see what a start does. So data is being... So that little start, it's just basically going through, again, through the process of diagnostics again. Maybe I fixed something and that's now gonna go through every single system. Once again, it gave me all the faults, and there's a lot of them. And the interesting thing about it is there's big F's and little F's. So big F, probably big problem. Little F, small problem. I hit F4 now. So it looks like I could kind of go through partly like the systems, like let's see, common rail, and then boom, boom, and it sort of like gets rid of some stuff and then leaves some stuff. Selected were there control units that was not recognized in a quick test, and I'm gonna select that. So I'm okay with that. Now what is this? View stored quick test. So we have the printing, then we have the question mark, help. Good. I'm going to select help. Okay, let's see what this means. So this seems like it just gives me definitions to some of the stuff. Let's see, wiring diagrams. Let's see, ABS. So is it pulling up wiring diagrams for ABS? That I would like to see. So it pulled up something. So I guess this is if I was servicing the vehicle, I would have all of this stuff, all these documents. In red, it's definitely clickable, and it's giving me wiring diagrams. Most definitely. So apparently I can zoom in, and we have like zoom out lens right here, so you could take a look at the diagrams up close. If I double tap it somewhere on the screen, so far nothing happens. But basically I could just, just do that, I guess. And right here we're at 400%. You could just do 50%. Well, I went to some more systems, but one thing I do want to point out, F1 is for going back, F2 is for going forward, and F3 is pretty much for choosing a selection. So I'm just going to be going back to F1. This is the instrument cluster, and that's what I'm going to the transmission control module, electronic transmission control. Current fault codes, let's see if we have any. And I wonder if we have any stored. Fault left rear wheel speed sensor. So this is that ABS problem that I'm having. So let's see what this is gonna give me. So when I select the magnifying glass, this is what I get. If I take this on a test drive, some of these turbine speeds will be moving and stuff like that. You could actually test some of the stuff while driving. Probably be a good thing to have somebody with you or record this data. I don't know if you could record just yet. This is some more transmission codes that I got, part of that system, stored fault codes. We have left rear speed sensor implausible, and we have the signal of the stoplight switch is implausible. I have entered the solenoid valve test, so we will select that. Solenoid valve test for all control valves and shift valves. Requirements: park and brake operated, engine off. Wow, engine off. No fault code stored. Selector level in position D. Interesting. And then I could pretty much hit start. Let's just hit start with the engine being on. Yeah, looks like, because actual value is not within the, okay, so it's aborted. It's fine. Gonna hit back. Gonna hit back. Control unit adaptations. Here I could perform transmission shifting adaptations, and we're not gonna be doing that right now, but supposedly if you don't like the way things are shifting with the vehicle, you think there's a problem, you can actually do some shifting adaptations. And I have choice to perform adaptation or reset all the adaptation data. So we're not gonna be touching my shifting at this point. The entire log, I guess if a customer comes in, you could show them everything that was actually wrong with the vehicle, and it's got your VIN number, it's got everything on here, and it says everything that failed. But I'll tell you one thing, it's not very detailed. So customers gonna get this, they're like, what's all this number, what's all these failures? And if you really care too much about your vehicle, you're like, please get everything fixed. And then yeah, this could really be expensive. Here's my current fault, 2025-002. The signal from component B142, intake pressure sensor, is faulty, and signal voltage is too low. I'm gonna attempt to delete it. So let's go ahead and actually hit erase. Yes, ignition is on right now, by the way, guys. Switch ignition off. Switch on ignition. So there we go. Came back right away, so I'm actually deleting it again. Switch on ignition and stored codes. I'm gonna go ahead and just click that. So I don't see it right now. Oh, it's reading. So yeah, it looks like it just came back, so it's fine. So basically, guys, the reason I'm deleting it is because just to see how quickly it comes back. Obviously, we have a sensor that's faulty. It's just going to keep throwing this. But you can delete them sometimes to find out if it's going to come back because it might have been tripped by some other sensor, to be sure. Went into another place where I believe you could actually adjust the RPMs, it says max working speed, minimum working speed. So we got 2000 for max working speed, minimum 1999. So it is quite interesting. Let me see if you could actually do anything besides going back. So it seems like you can't really do anything here. So it's just basically showing you the actual values. You could just take a look at stuff like cruise control and, you know, other stuff. Here's a complete list of fault codes. There it is. So this is actually kind of cool because I could probably print this and just basically use it as a reference. I named the file fault codes list and we just put print to file. So I'm just gonna go ahead and hit print. So I don't know where the file's at, but I will find it. Here we have the troubleshooting. Engine starts poorly, poor engine performance. So which one should we test? Engine starts poorly? Okay. So here's some of the instructions that I get. But I believe it's kind of like really taking a look at the instructions for my vehicle. That's what I'm kind of thinking. Because it's giving me engine speed is 0, minimum max, and then fuel rail pressure, 4,584. And you see these numbers just actually fluctuate a little bit. So let's see if I could proceed to go forward. Is the engine speed higher than 200 RPMs? I don't know. What do you think, guys? I'm just gonna put no. Check, and if necessary, replace the starter and battery. Okay, that's a little bit decent. So we could hit forward. Engine starts poorly, and then we're gonna hit F2, and in this case we're gonna say yes. Does the system build up pressure of 3,625 psi within 2 seconds? Let's just say yes. Inspect pre-glow system, carry out components test. So let's see if I select no. Test fuel pressure at fuel filter. Okay, let's say test fuel pressure at fuel filter. So let's see what happens. Switch off ignition, insert pressure gauge between fuel filter and fuel line. So let's supposedly I did that. Ignition on. After switching on ignition, the electric fuel pump runs for 3,625 psi. Question, is the fuel pressure measured between 55 psi and 80 psi? I'm just gonna put no. Is the fuel pressure higher than 80 psi? No. Inspect fuel pipes for leaks, dirt, replace fuel pump if necessary. So this is really nice. It gives you sensible directions that you could actually quickly test if you're actually working on a vehicle with simple questions. Let's see if I answer that yes. And then we hit forward, end of test. Pressure buildup test. Determine the time needed for pressure buildup by comparing the right and left tolerance lines. If the time needed is less than 2 seconds, the high pressure pump operates correctly. If the minimum value is not below 5,100 psi, the test must be repeated. Okay. So it gives me actual values of my coolant, specification valve, engine at idle, 500 to 1,000. Okay, interesting. This is a software or vehicle communication problem. looks like we had a minor glitch in the system, but it's fixed. Log. I could also print this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and actually save it. I'm gonna print a file. I'm gonna put control. Log. I'm just gonna put, yeah, just do that. All of these things is highlighted. I already been there. We have complete list of guided tests. So we have all of these things that we could actually test. Lots of them. That is kind of cool because, you know, it means that there's procedure to follow, and eventually it's going to lead to a fix. So we have in initialization of injector classification. This sounds a little bit scary. Initialize injector classification because it says note for initial startup of the control unit, injector classification must be initialized one time. Initialization will cause any injector classification to be erased. So I'm going to put yes. Injector classification was initialized. Injector classification for individual cylinder can now begin. Wow. Let's just do forward. Let's hit select. I'm just gonna have to actually get out of this system. Here's the electronic stability program. And that one is kind of faulty at this point. Current fault codes. So that's actually has to do with a cable left rear speed sensor. Cable RPM sensor, cable left rear speed sensor. So it seems like there's a issue with that cable. Diagnosing my radio, which has a code, and it just came up. Print my radio file. I'm able to test the screen darkness, brightness for the radio. It even has cassette cannot be ejected, cassette fault jammed. For the longest time, my radio code was basically there, and I don't know my radio code. And by me accessing my radio, I didn't even have to unlock it or nothing. Just basically access the radio, and I could just like start testing stuff. When I exited the test, the radio's still on. So if you guys have a radio that's not working and you kind of stuck, I could help you with that. Access the maintenance type of intervals, and I got minus 8088, and I don't know what do we have here. Yeah, 8100, you see? That's pretty much what I have here. So let's see. Let's go ahead and select that. See if I could actually reset my service lights. Actually hit forward, and looks like it started blinking right away. What do we have here? The distance driven since last oil change miles. So let's make that a 1. So let's see what's gonna happen now. So I guess now I guess that's next service after 12,000 miles. I'm guessing, because that was a minus, and now it's going to be counting down from here. We will see about that. That's definitely really cool. warning threshold in 30 days. We don't need that kind of warning. Let's see if we could actually change that. Let's do 365 days. I mean, 30 days is a little bit excessive, don't you think? Correct entry. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Let's do that again. So let's do 99. It says between 5 and 30. Okay. I guess 30 is gonna have to do. Days since last oil change. Wow. Days since last oil change. Let's just put 1. 197 it says. No. It's 1 day. So maintenance intervals in days. So in 729 days, maintenance. Okay. Oil minimum warning. Let's see what this one, if this is going to give me a warning. So if the oil minimum warning is activated too soon or too late, it can be set. The setting is performed in millimeter steps. Possible means that the oil minimum warning is activated too soon. Negative means that the oil minimum warning is activated too late. I really don't want to mess with that. Leave the oil alone. Time period with battery disconnected. Perform oil change. Perform oil change. Okay, remaining distance. Let's see, what is this? Yes. Has an oil change been carried out? Yes. Remaining distance and remaining time are set in this case. Question: has oil change been carried out? Yes. Let's see what's going to happen now. Okay, so looks like that's now 10,000 instead of 12. And yeah, 10,000. So 10,000 miles. Next oil change. Perfect. Tire size. That's cool. I could do all this cool stuff. So this is control unit adaptations. Setting the main odometer back. What? I could change my odometer reading. Automatic control module replacement. Manual replacement of control module. Let's see, set the tire size. So this is what I have here. 225 by 75 R16s. So I could choose 225 by 70 R15s. So we have the 16, so we have the good stuff. So we don't need to be changing that. So it looks like if we got 15s, you want to move more up in size, then that's going to need to be changed inside of the computer. So we're going to basically go ahead and just go back. Okay. So setting odometer back. The main odometer cannot be set back in the USA. So it looks like odometer cannot be set, which I would not be doing anyways, but it would be interesting to see if I can. Automatic control module replacement. Let's see what happens here. The reading read out the main odometer is okay, so 518,000 miles. Correct main odometer displays is currently possible up to 62,000. Interesting. So obviously, if you're replacing your cluster, this is control module, but which is a little bit confusing. But I think this is the instrument cluster. If it has the odometer reading, you could actually change that ignition. But well, I guess let's do that. Switch off. And wait a minute. No, that's if or is it? I really don't want to do anything in here in this type of area, but it's fun. It hasn't been performed, so it looks like I'm gonna have to perform it. So it's blinkety blink. It appears that I could actually set the clock. It's parked, so 10:53. So 10:53. In reality, it's 10:54. You know, we have to be precise here. So we're gonna go ahead and change the clock. So 10:54 now. Actuations. Let's go into this one. Indicator lamps. This actuation equals the indicator light test. When the ignition is switched on, all indicator lights parameterized in the instrument cluster are activated with F5 key. So let's see, I'm hitting the F5 key. So all of these lights just came on. Wow, scary. Yeah, I don't see the glow plug pre-warm type of light, so I could actually turn it off with an F5. So that means I could actually technically test all of these lights, see what really comes on and what doesn't. So we have water and fuel filter, brake light, water too low, oil level too low, battery park, all of these good things. So I just turned it off. I really don't want to be driving with that Christmas. So let's see, move instrument pointer. What? Move instrument pointer? Are you serious? Actuate warning buzzer. Let's see what happens. The warning buzzer of the instrument cluster is actuated for a period of 1, 5. Actually, it started with F1 key. So let's see what happens. Okay, let's start again. So it looks like that's the warning buzzer. Let's see what the LCD does. The LCD of the instrument cluster is activated by pressing F5. Let's see what happens. Wow, look at all that. That's a crazy LCD. So I just put everything back, but I have a blank screen now. So let's actually go back. That's kind of scary. Everything is back. So not that scary. Okay. Let's go back. Actual values, control log. Let's go back. See, we have like the radio. I actually entered that last time, and we have a backup assist, which isn't working. Instrument cluster I have tried. We're gonna go back again. So you could actually perform some of this stuff. It's a little bit different menus than actual diagnostics. Let's see, air conditioning. Let's really don't want to do air conditioning. Let's see body. Let's see what happens to the body. Anti-theft alarm. What? Airbag. Airbag is kind of scary. Hopefully I don't make it activated. But let's see, current fault codes. Let's see if we have any fault codes with airbag. Nothing was showing up, which is good. We really don't want anything. So we're going to go ahead and go back. Anti-theft alarm. Let's see if this actually works. I've never heard of that anti-theft alarm on this vehicle. Error during initialization. Initialization. No link. That's probably about right. There's probably no anti-theft alarm. Switch off ignition, then switch on. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and abort this process. Let's see, immobilizer, central locking system. I really don't want to have to mess with immobilizer, but let's see what happens. Status of control module is okay. So I don't even see no back or escape. Okay. So it just pretty much let me go. So mobilizer has its own set of controls over here. Locking and enabling. What? That's cool. Learn transponder key. Locking and establishing, enabling transponder key. Display message star error. We don't want that. So looks like I could program some keys. Turn ignition on and off 2 times, 6 seconds. Well, obviously, guys, this is for coding keys. I could code keys now. Learn transponder key. Let's see. Erase all transponder keys and relearn the current one. Wow. Well, let's just go back. That's kind of cool though, because last time I replaced the ignition switch, it came with its own key, and since the immobilizer is not going to recognize it, I have replaced the immobilizer and the computer because the computer would not recognize the immobilizer. So this would give me the ability to just replace the ignition switch with the key and then have that learn itself, which is kind of cool. So I really don't want to mess with any of this stuff right now. I'm going to go ahead and go back. So that's body. Let's see. So airbag, immobilizer, central locking system. So all that stuff is good. Let's go to chassis. ESP electronic stability program, anti-lock braking system. We already know about that. Here's the drive. So CR common rail, electronic transmission control. I already know it's going to throw a couple codes. ME motor electronics. Let's see what that's about. Wow. Safety notes for high voltage. I confirm. There might be risk. Forward. F3. Risk of explosion injury. Okay. So testing my intake pressure sensor for the actual values, and it's giving me 11.4865 psi. Let's say, is this okay? Guess it's okay. Possible cause and remedy. In the event of stored faults with high faults frequency count, or in the event of customer complaints, check the lines and connectors for loose contact and corrosion. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's see. Let's say it's no. It's not good. Seems like it's about the same answer for that one. So is it okay? No. Let's go back. And let's hit start. And hit stop. And I say no. And it tells me where the lines are between the components B142, intake pressure sensor, and charge air distribution pipes for leaks. There's definitely a good chance that the charge air distribution pipe is leaking. The resonator pipe, it's because it's plastic on this one. I do have a metal one, and I think it probably can use one. I think that's probably why it's causing this way issue. To test the signal cable for B142 intake pressure sensor. Figure legend. So we have some tests here. Test sequence. Switch off ignition. Separate plug connector 2 at control unit CDI. Separate plug at component B142. Blah, blah, blah. And it says specified value 3 ohms resistor. Wow. So now we know that there's a resistor for 3 ohms. I believe. So maybe if it burns out, I could actually replace it with a resistor. And here's kind of like the wiring diagram for it. Here's a complete list of guided tests. Let's just like open up one of them. Well, not that one. But basically, it would give you kind of like a whole guide for testing this type of stuff. Whatever's faulty and what's not faulty. And I could tell one thing is, it's very time consuming. I've been, I think, sitting at it for like 2 hours. Just looking through like all the systems. So it gives you like a guide for repairing stuff and what needs to be and what not, which is kind of cool. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. This is my short video, just kind of like a, I guess, not so quick rundown of this Star Diagnostic system. But I'm pretty sure a lot of stuff that I mentioned, it's probably going to be of interest to many of you guys, and possibly you got a chance to see some stuff that maybe you thought it had, but didn't know it had, but now you do. My name is Serge Zimaleta. I'm 37 years old, and yes, I experienced success after buying my first home for cash. Back in 2011, I was broke, but I learned to solve problems on my own. Now, I'm helping others to solve their problems. I know what pitfalls to avoid to stay profitable in business. Need motivation to be more successful in your life? Do you have Sprint or Expedite or business problems? Then subscribe. Let's find creative solutions to your problems. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my helpful videos.